Here are Allison and Stephanie.
I'll be home for Christmas now.
Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Good morning.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's just our little bit of cheer, Christmas cheer.
Is there still time to get into Home by Christmas?
What is today? Yeah, there actually is. If you have already started the process, I don't know what day it is. It feels like it's further into December than it is.
I know.
It is December 7th, which
you.
Used to be a famous date in history, but it's sort of been forgotten now.
Well, it is the Pearl Harbor Day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, thinking about that crazy, horrific day in history.
It's kind of sad that it's been forgotten.
Right, we're all caught up in the Christmas hype and all the holidays and all the current events and all that. But yes, it is a day to think about. And it's at the beginning of World War II, wasn't it, Joe? Kind of, yeah. It's what started all that. So I found an old book one time at a garage sale or a thrift store or something, but it was all about Pearl Harbor, and it was really an interesting book about it. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in a box in my garage, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, you can go back to real estate now. Can they get home by Christmas?
Yes, thank you. Even on, you can. If you have a good lender working with you that can get it done quickly, and if you've already started the process, it's helpful. But, there's a lot of lenders that can close in 15, 20 days. Now it's, typically it's a 30-day escrow is what, the kind of standard is, but it's really gotten a lot shorter in the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. They've been able to kind of streamline things and get it done. They have that direct underwriter that they put everything into, and it'll kick it out if it's not, if there's something flagged in it and they have to go back and get more. But anyway, if you have a direct underwriter or approval, a lot of lenders can do it quickly. So, yes, you might just be in a home by Christmas if you do it soon. Anyway, and we'll ask Amanda Hagar because we have a great local lender here at 9:30. Amanda Hagar with Task Mortgage. She's been around for a long time.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit about kind of what to expect going into 2026 with the rates and just the whole lending atmosphere, any changes that are coming up, and then really kind of dive into some things that you may need to know about if you're a first-time buyer, if you are looking for that buy or sell and then buy, or buy and then sell. A lot of lenders have some good strategies to help you with that. And so, or just if you're going to buy a home and you need to talk to a lender.
And before that, we have market update. We also have some events we are going to mention and where to find other events.
Yes, and then we are going to take a quick look at what happened in real estate in November, because we've closed out the month and given it a little bit of time for everybody to report their numbers. Hopefully they've done that by now, and all of the realtors. Sometimes, and myself included, sometimes we forget to go, oh shoot, we forgot to report that sold last week.
Yeah.
So
it's very easy to forget.
It is. You get caught up in all of the frenzy of getting things closed, and then that's that little thing. But anyway, so we usually like to give it about a week. So we are a week in, and we're going to talk about what happened in November this year versus last year, and then you have a look at what happened this last week in real estate. And we get a lot of people saying, oh, it's not a good time to buy, or it's not a good time to sell, and nothing is, and definitely the numbers are down, and it's because people think it's not a good time to buy or sell. But honestly, there's a lot of activity, and there are people out there looking. There are people thinking about putting their house on the market. Definitely, and wondering. Yeah. And if you're thinking about it while somebody else is going, gosh, I wish this property would come on the market that I need, I have a guy that we're talking to right now that's coming into town for a few days during Christmas. They're looking to buy something in Bennett Valley, and and we're not seeing what they're looking for, but I wonder if there's anybody out there that's thinking, oh, I'm going to wait till spring to put it on the market, or we'll wait till after the holidays. But they're literally here for like 3 days over Christmas.
And there's a lot of that, so it's really
right.
good
It's not just that one guy
during the holidays. But it also brings up the topic: how decorated should your home be if you're selling it?
Right. And we do get that question, and we also get that. Should we just dive right into that now? You want to talk about that
We
now?
could, yeah.
Let's talk about that now let's do it actually, yes. No, because we'll talk about it. We'll tease you with that. We'll talk about it when we come back from our first break. But let's look at, you had a couple of events going on. We'll look at those and get those going.
So a couple events I have here. Petaluma Fairgrounds Luma Ice. It opens Wednesday, December 10th at 10 a.m. If you want more information, you could go to www.lumaice.com. And then there's the Coffee Park Christmas Parade, Saturday, December 13th. There's staging at 5 p.m. if you want to join and decorate your car with all the lights and Christmas things, and go join the parade at 6 p.m. sharp. And staging is at 3300 Coffee Lane.
Yeah, and we have the information on our Facebook page. This is a really fun event, and it's one of the I don't know, only fairs I know of where you can just day of go, I want to be in this parade.
Oh yeah, the parade, yes.
And you can just pull up and into the staging area or stage at home. We'll go into the staging area because then everybody leaves at the same time and we follow a route. There's a map. We have all the information on our Facebook page.
And then if you're looking for other events, you can always go to Happening Sonoma County, or you can just Google events in Sonoma County. And there's also
a lot of fun stuff.
I think on Facebook, I'll post it later, but you can find all of the different houses that are decked out for Christmas. There's some really good ones.
Yeah, there's a good, I think it's a Facebook group or page that has those. So we posted that on our Facebook page, I think, already, which is the Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. So you can find all that good information about events and local stuff, plus real estate stuff and our numbers that we're going to be talking about today. I wanted to mention that, and I like to mention every year, if you want a fun outing with your family or by yourself, the recreation.gov/tree-permits. You can go to a National Forest Service or a national forest that is part of this. It's $10 for a permit. There's a $2.50 processing fee, and you can go out and cut your own tree in a national forest. So there's great local tree farms here in Sonoma County, but what a fun adventure to go out into the forest and literally, cut down a tree in the forest. And there's actually, people go, oh, I don't want to cut down the trees in the forest. Well, they're actually flagged trees or tag them that it's actually beneficial for the forest to be clearing some of this out and cutting it down. And they're not like they're dead and dying trees. They're nice trees, but I think they hang little tags on them, and you can pick that one. But you go to recreation.gov/trees-permits, and they'll show you. There's some of the closest, I think, Stanislaus County, Tahoe National Forest you can go there. I think maybe El Dorado. Nothing in Sonoma County, but there's close by, and what a fun trip and thing to do. If you have a fourth grader in the state of California, I don't know if it's national, it must be because it's part of this program, but fourth graders can do it for free. There's a lot of, if you have a fourth grader, the National Park Service and the local parks, they have programs specifically for fourth graders. They just kind of picked a grade, and this is it. This is the one. So take advantage of it all year long. You can get a lot of fun stuff if you have a fourth grader in your family. So check it out, recreation.gov. Okay, so shall we take a quick break? And then when we come back, let's talk about winter selling tips, especially should we decorate or not? And then we'll take a look at the numbers during that portion of the show. And then Amanda Hagar, Task Mortgage, the full second half of the show is all going to be talking to her about lending, what's going on in the mortgage industry and all that good stuff. All right. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back. We were talking about, welcome back, this is the Real Estate Hour, and during the, during the holidays, do we, is it okay to decorate? Can we decorate? Sure, absolutely, decorate to your little heart's content. Just keep in mind, not everybody celebrates Christmas. And we've actually had, I've had clients who literally walked back out. We went into one house. It was so overly decorated, and she said it looks like Christmas threw up in here. So it can be a little overwhelming and a little much for some people who don't celebrate Christmas.
I would say it's better to keep it the bare minimum.
Yeah, I mean, put the holiday spirit in there. Enjoy. You're still living there, especially if you're still living there. You're going to want to enjoy your home. It's your home. That's why we, have a home, so that we can do what we want. But just keep in mind when you're putting it on the market, you can do what you want, but reel it in a little bit, and remember your ultimate goal is to get your house sold. So. Don't take it away too much, and that's just the same as like taking down all your personal photos and or most of them, and just because somebody wants to come in and they want to see the house, they don't want to see your stuff, but they want it to feel homey, they want it to feel comfortable. So there's kind of that fine line between what does that mean to to a buyer, and personal items. You don't want people just checking out your personal items, not looking at what they leave, and and they're all, wait a minute, was there a third bedroom? I can't remember. So what the third bedroom looked like, because they were busy looking at all your stuff, So keep that all kind of in check, and obviously it's up to you, but keep that in mind if you have your house on the market during the holidays.
Yeah.
Some people will love it if it's all decked out for Christmas. I would love it, but I'm but also I'd like to see what the house looks like without all that stuff.
Or if it's somebody that doesn't celebrate Christmas, that's gonna kind of deter them from the house.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing, and
and it's kind of the same with like your political opinions or just your artwork that you have. It might offend somebody. Or
the stuff, the pachydermy. Is that what it's called?
Taxidermy.
I made up a new word. Taxidermy. Oh my gosh, on old vintage dolls that I know we've heard had houses where they've got like a whole bedroom full of dolls. They've got or a whole house full. There was one on the market a few years ago, and they had. I think that the agent was able to talk them into kind of moving stuff into one area of the house, so it was all of their taxidermy stuff in one place. Gosh. And people would walk in and go, then they would leave. You don't, if you're trying to sell your house, there's a difference between doing what you want in the house that you own, that this is how I live, this is what I want, this is what I enjoy, and I'd like to sell my house. There's a difference there, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, you got to keep it to the bare minimum,
keep it to
unfortunately, and just think about how others are going to see your house.
Yeah. And if you can't do that, then maybe you're the one person that should consider waiting until the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and just work on
or put it, see, maybe you'll be fine. But anyway, just we like to make your house available to as many people as possible. That includes being able to see it without making an appointment if possible, not restricting the hours and all of that, but also how your house is received by people.
Well, it's the same with smells and just everything. It all.
And check we get, what is that called, nose blind, kind of, when you live in a smell. Have a friend come over that's going to be honest with you and say, can you smell the cat? Can you smell the cigarette smoker that, was here, lived here last year? Is it still in the house? I don't know. Or go away for a while and then come back and see if, So, but anyway, keeping the house warm in the winter is important. And getting out there and cleaning the yard, front door. A lot of people go in through their garage, especially in the winter. Go take a look at your front door. That's where the lock box, that's where your guests that are coming to look at your house. That's where they're going to be, and they're standing there while we're opening the lockbox. They're standing there looking around, taking it all in. Make sure what they see is not going to scare them away. Anyway, and then check your rain gutters and all that. But I want to leave time for the numbers. So did you have anything else on that?
I think we're okay for now.
Yeah, I think we covered it. So just, it's a great time to put your house on the market, but keep an eye on those things that, you want it to be really appealing to somebody.
Yeah. Another thing, too, I just thought of is anything valuable that you have in your house as well.
Yeah, putting those things away.
Put those things away somewhere safe or take them with you.
Put them in a little bag
and
take them with you.
You just never know. And it could be something innocent where just a little kid walks away with it thinking, oh, this is cool.
Little trinkets and knickknacks. And the parents, they get home and the kid's got something in their hand, or in their pocket. They're all, where'd that come from? I don't know. We looked at like 10 houses today. Oh, my gosh, where'd that come from? And medications, we hate to think that somebody might get into your medicine cabinet, including there have been stories even with agents who have done that. So that's a horrible thing, and it's a very kind of unusual. I like to say it's not like the normal, common thing, but it does happen. Yeah. So keep your prescription medications away. From just lock them up. It's somebody that is addicted to some type of medication is going to kind of throw all the rules out.
Yeah, you just never know, so it's better to be safe.
Yes. Okay, not to go to that dark place. But anyway, let's look at the numbers and take a look at what happened in November before we run out of time. So single-family homes, 706 single-family homes currently active on the market right now with 266 in escrow. And the median price of what's active, $1,250,000. The median price of what's in escrow is $881,000. Condos, we have 116 active condos in the market with 40 in escrow. Mobile homes, we have 77 active mobile homes with 33 in escrow. Multi-units, we have 101 multi-units. That's 2 to 4 units with 32 in escrow. And land, we're still a little under 300, which we hadn't been for quite a while. Most of this year, it's been over 300. So we're at 292. That's kind of normal because we're in the winter months. Same with single-family homes. We're at 706. We were over 1,000 just about a month ago. So it's typical that we're in the winter market and people do stop, which they shouldn't, as we've been telling you, but people do, and you can see it in the numbers. I think there would be more sold and more in escrow if there was more available inventory. Because there's buyers out there looking. Land, we have 292 active. This is buildable residential land, and then we have just 26 in escrow. That's pretty common that there's such a big gap between those two numbers. Taking a quick look at what sold in November of 2025 versus what sold in November of 24. And if you're scrambling to get all this information, just know you can go to our Facebook page, The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman, and all of this will be spelled out for you there. But taking a look, the numbers are pretty similar to what they were last year in November. The median price, though, let's see, the median price of what sold single-family homes is $799. It was $807 last November. There's 282 that sold last year or this year versus 280 last year. This is the only number that's higher this year than it was last year, is the single family home residential. Condos, there were 35 that sold this year in November, 42 last year. The mobile homes are 26 that sold this year versus 31 last year in November. Multi-unit, 2 to 4 units, there were 8 that sold this year in November, and there were 18 that sold last year. So that's a big difference. And then land, I had to check it twice. I thought I did something wrong. There were only 6 buildable residential acreage or lots. There were only 6 that sold this November. There were 20 that sold last November. Yeah. That's a big difference in the land. So, again, also there's less inventory, so maybe that's why less sold. Anyway, let's do a quick look at what happened this week in real estate from Stephanie.
Yes. So from last Sunday to today, single-family residential, Sonoma County. So new listings 50 with an average median list price $899,000. Back on market 26. Price production 55. In escrow 68. Pending 41. Closed 66. With an average median sold price of $825,000 with 78 days on the market. Congratulations to everyone who either bought or sold a home, because it was a big process and you did it.
Yay!
Yay!
Woohoo! Bells and whistles. It is such a big. It's a big process. I always like
to mention that because it's a big process.
It is. It's a stressful thing. We're not going to lie.
And there's a lot of people involved. It's not just buyer seller. Agents.
There's so many people in the background. We both sides usually have a transaction coordinator. There's the title and escrow company. There's a title officer and an escrow officer. There's all of their assistants that keep everything in check. There's the lender. There's the loan processor. There's the underwriter. There's the closings, some loan companies, they'll have like multiple people doing different things. So, and I think they all do, but usually we're just talking to the lender. We're going to talk to one lender when we come back, to Amanda Hagar of Task Mortgage. So she can relate to that. But congratulations to you if you closed a home, whether you're moving on to a new adventure or you're moving into a new house, which is another kind of an adventure. And you get to decorate now for Christmas or Hanukkah or just to celebrate.
For the New Year.
Yeah.
Yay.
Congratulations. Okay. So when we come back, we are going to be talking to Amanda Hagar, Task Mortgage. She's calling in to we're going to pick her brain about what's going on in the mortgage industry, what's happening as we head into 2026. And then, we talk a lot about first-time buyers, and Amanda's one of the lenders that we like to recommend our first-time buyers to, because she's really patient and she'll really work hard with them to get them in a position where they can get ready to buy. But she also does a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to her about all of that when we come back. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back.
Better watch out. You better not cry.
That was a dramatic beginning. Thanks, Joe.
You woke a little bit.
You woke us all up.
I was waiting for it.
I'm all, what song is this? And it's all da da da. Anyway,
Dramatic.
Good morning, welcome. Sorry, I hope you're all awake now. I hope you weren't taking a sip of your coffee while that music scared you. Welcome. I think we have Amanda Hagar on the phone. Welcome and good morning, Amanda.
Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, you two.
Oh, absolutely.
Morning.
Thanks for calling in.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been wanting to chat with a lender here and it's been a little while. So I'm happy that you're available and you're going to fill us in on all the all the stuff that's going on in the mortgage world today.
Absolutely.
As much as we have time for. I know there's a lot more than what we have time for probably. But anyway, so welcome. I wanted to introduce you. You're with Task Mortgage. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you've been around Sonoma County for a very long time and in the mortgage industry as well, but how long's it been?
Thanks for asking. So I've been peddling mortgages here for about 21 years, and I've been in Sonoma County probably about 17 of those years. Wow. So a good amount of time. I've seen the ups and the downs,
right,
and the craziness that goes with it.
Yeah, that's about when I started in real estate. It was about I think it was like 18 years ago. So yes, we've been in it together. There were definitely some ups and downs. So you are now with Task Mortgage, and
that's right.
Awesome, and that's a local. We like to recommend. There's a lot of good lenders out there. Having a local lender is really important, and having somebody that's been in the business and has been in the business locally, I think, is really important too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I partnered with Task. It's been just about 2-3 years now, and it's a fantastic place to be, especially in this environment.
Yeah. Speaking of the environment, yeah. So I guess let's just we're going to talk a lot about what specific things that you can do with Task Mortgage, some of the special programs you might have available. But I wanted to talk first about kind of what's going on in this climate of what's happening in the mortgage world. We hear a lot of it, and we're more on the real estate side of it, and we get little tidbits of what's happening in the mortgage industry. But I know you have a lot more insight than us, so we'd love to hear what you can tell us about what's going on with the rates and what's happening in the mortgage world.
Absolutely. Well, I like to tell people we're kind of on the ground floor because we can kind of see things coming by the amount of applications we're taking, amount of people calling in. Are they looking to do a refinance? If we're getting more refinance calls, that usually means that people are seeing lower rates or they're seeing higher costs and they need to do some debt consolidation. If we're seeing more buyer applications, that means there's a lot of buyer activity, and that means people are actually starting to see some deals out there, and sellers are starting to kind of bring bring on their properties with a little bit more of a realistic price tag. So right now I'm actually seeing a lot of activity kind of on both sides, which makes me think there's some uncertainty in the greater economy, but there's also a lot of pent-up demand in the basically people wanting to get into homes. A lot of buyer activity right now. There's some good deals out there. Interest rates are lower than they have been really in the last 12 months. They're in the high 5s to the low to mid 6s, just depending on someone's qualifications. And we're talking your standard 30-year fixed conventional would be somewhere probably in your high 5s to low 6s. Your FHA, VA would be somewhere in your, mid to high 5s, maybe low 6s if you have, some credit challenges. So ultimately pretty good.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say that people that are used to that, we got used to that 3% or sub 3% in 2020 and 21 or whenever it dropped that low. But that 5 is really historically that's a good rate. I was looking back at some of our past shows, I think it was, or past Facebook posts or something, and it was like, we were talking about the rates are in the mid 5s. Woohoo. Right. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that wasn't that long ago. It was like 2018, 19, I think, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. But if you're looking at, and that's one of the biggest, issues I think we're having is people that remember that low interest rate. They go, oh, gosh, I don't want to pay 5% or 6%,
right.
Which is probably more realistic. But anyway, it's a good rate. So we're seeing that same kind of pent-up buyer, people going, okay, it's time, and even sellers going, okay, it's time to make that move, even though our interest rate might go up. Or will go up, So
yep. There's still a lack of supply here in the Bay Area and in Sonoma County, and there's still people that have money and are qualified to buy. An average historical rate, if you're looking back since we started, keeping track of this stuff, is right around 6.25. So we're kind of average right now. I do think that if we see rates kind of get into the low to mid 5s and they stick around, I think we're going to see property values kind of, or sellers anyway, kind of hold on to that price they want a little bit longer because they are going to see that affordability has improved, and that's kind of, we're seeing a lot of push and pull right now. I think it's going to just be kind of a slow push and pull for a while since we have lack of supply and we have so much pent up demand, and there is a lot of money in this area still.
Yeah,
a lot of still a lot of cash and still
I know
still a lot of multiple offers. So I think we're going to see just kind of this slow, almost like a stall out here, between buyers and sellers for the next couple of years, unless we see this new Fed chief, which we're assuming we're going to have a new one in May next year, kind of get aggressive on rates, and that has its own set of what could happen if rates do come down as aggressively as they're talking about. What does that mean for inflation? And then what other tools does the Fed have to combat that inflation besides just bringing up that Fed's fund rate again quickly like they've done over the last couple of years? And then we're kind of back in this mess. So I'll be curious to see. I would love lower interest rates, but that means, and I think people have short memories, that means multiple offers. That means no contingencies. That means you're buying a house very quickly without the time to kind of do your due diligence. So I personally like a little bit more of the push and pull, and people, my buyers, having that flexibility to do the home inspection. Do the pest inspection, make sure because it is a long-term investment.
Right. Yeah. And when you do get into that crazy multiple offer situation, and then people are often paying more than, they're overpaying because they want to get in, or they have to in order to, in order to get that offer accepted. And you're right. And give up the appraisal contingency and even the loan contingency sometimes, and putting themselves in kind of a dangerous position. So that's a good point. So, so going into, I guess you kind of already said, going into 2026, you're thinking, there might be some.
I think we might see some. We might see some a little bit of a rate come down. It's really just too soon to tell. There's too many factors that go into what sets mortgage rates to say. I know that sometimes, even though the powers that be want to bring rates down, other factors keep that from happening. So it's really going to be up to quite a few different things. A lot of people think when the Fed reduces that Fed's fund rate, that means interest rates go down. That's not the case. It does impact kind of what's going on in the greater market, but a lot of that's baked into those expectations now. So we have a Fed decision coming out this next week, and rates are already kind of making the assumption that we're going to see a quarter reduction in that rate. But that's the rate in which banks lend to each other overnight. That will impact your credit card rates. That will impact your home equity line of credit rates. But that, just because they reduce that a quarter, does not mean your interest rates on 30-year mortgages will go down. That follows more closely to the 10-year Treasury, because most people don't hold on to those 30-year mortgages for longer than 7 to 10 years historically. But I do think the spring's going to be busy. I've been telling my clients, if you can get into something now, this is a great time of year to buy. The sellers that are selling generally need to sell because they're more motivated. We're dealing with less competition this time of year because of the weather and the holidays. So if you can find that deal, just be ready to act, because there's other, savvy buyers out there kind of that know that the end of the year is a good time to buy. You've got people sellers trying to meet tax implications by closing by the end of the year. They already know that there's less people out there looking. So if they have a home on a market, they're more likely going to be more motivated than someone in the spring, and you have less competition now. But the spring does bring more, as you two know, it brings more
of both.
More of both.
Well, and we always encourage people get your house on the market before everybody else does. You don't want to be, in the crowd trying to be seen.
I'm
losing my voice.
You want to stand out.
Yeah. So, we're seeing, kind of feeling the same thing. And it's a good point that, when the rates come down, or if they come down, more buyers enter the market, and then now you're competing with more. So if you have the means, and what we usually, and I'm sure you do too, is recommend that, people look at the big picture, not just the interest rate, but what is it going to cost me every month? Is it comfortable? Does it make sense? And not focus so much on the credit. I mean, not credit, the interest rate. Thank you. Because if it goes down, or whenever it does go down, more people are going to just flood the market. And now you're competing, and you may pay more for the property because you're competing against other buyers. So, that's how it generally works, right? So so if it's comfortable now, go talk to Amanda, and she'll tell you if it's going to work for you, and you can give people a really good idea of what that monthly cost is going to look like. So I think it goes beyond what they qualify for, and really kind of looking at what is your comfort, where are you comfortable, and what is this going to look like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you mentioned kind of a variable. I know variable's a different term. I'm using a different, not a variable rate, but just it varies by person by person what the interest rate's going to be.
Right.
And so, and I think that's an important point is, you hear even different companies advertising interest rates. It depends on their personal situation, right?
Qualifications.
Yeah.
That's right. When you're seeing advertised rates, people are, it's marketing. They're putting, if you're reading that fine print, it's usually assuming you're paying 1% to 2% of the loan amount to have that rate, that marketed rate. It usually assumes you're, A paper putting at least 20 to 25% down. So it's really, advertisements are really just there to generate phone calls.
Yeah.
And then once you, actually speak with someone, they plug in your specifics, that number could be a lot different. So one of the benefits of talking with, a local person like myself that has, the extra kind of education, works under different types of licenses and some other different types of lenders, we're going to look at, your credit. Is there a way we can help improve your credit ahead of time? We're going to look at strategy. Does it make sense to put as much down as you can? Or right now, a lot of my clients are actually, if they have 30, 40% down, or even 10 to 15% down, they might actually want to put the minimum down to qualify. Maybe they want to put 3 to 5% down, hold on to the excess cash so that they can have that money available to kind of offset that mortgage as they get used to it over the next 6 months. And if rates come down, then we just refinance into something better down the line. So there's all sorts of strategies we can help our clients with. And some people are surprised. Maybe we pay off some debt with that, maybe we pay off a 22% interest credit card with that extra 5%, and now your global monthly obligation is a lot less, and you can afford more house. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. It's not just how much am I paying every month, how much can I put down. Let's kind of look at the global situation, and how can we help you, make the best decisions where you're comfortable and you can hold on to this asset for as long as you can, because we all know that that's where the wealth creation really happens, is the longer you hold on to this fixed asset with fixed debt over time, it's going to appreciate. You're going to be paying it down. It's a great hedge against inflation, and it builds wealth for us over the long term.
Absolutely, yes. We try and drill that into people as well. It's really, we're true believers in the power of home ownership, really, in the wealth building. I don't know what's going on with my voice today. I hope you're not
getting sick, Elsie.
No, I don't. Oh, you know what? Well, it was 2 days ago, but we went to a concert and we're yelling. I think it's catching up to me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, now I remember. Anyway, we need to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about buyers, and especially Stephanie works with a lot of our millennial buyers.
Yeah.
So if we could kind of chat about that a little bit when we come back. It's going to be a quick break. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
With the Norman Home Team. We're talking to Amanda Hagar with Task Mortgage, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back. Good morning. We're back.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we're going to continue our conversation with Amanda Hagar of Task Mortgage, a great local lender here in Sonoma County. And thank you so much. Welcome back, Amanda. And thank you so much for all the great information so far. We do get a lot of information, a lot of questions about where's the market going, what's happening. And
definitely.
It's not, we can talk about the real estate market all day long. But when it comes to what's happening on the mortgage side of things, that's a really big piece of it. So we appreciate hearing it straight from a lender who gets more information than us.
Right. Definitely helpful.
Yeah. So Stephanie had a question because she works with a lot of first-time buyers.
Yeah. So I have a lot of first-time buyers that ask me what they'll say they want to buy a house and how much they need to save up and what they need to do. And I'm like, well, you should talk to a lender. And they're like, oh, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to buy. I don't want to talk to a lender. So what do you recommend to get them to talk to a lender? I tell them they're super helpful. You're not going to be forced to buy a house. And they're just like, no, I'm not ready. It's very interesting.
I actually get that. I hear that a lot where I'm not, I'm going to give your number to somebody, they'll call you when they're ready. And I'm thinking helping get somebody ready is really a huge part of what I do, or what, lenders do. Is we want to put them on that path. And I've seen people make a lot of costly mistakes where they think my credit's not where I want it to be, or maybe I need to pay this down and my credit will be better before I talk to them. I think a lot of people think that when they come and put in an application, that's it. That's what you qualify for, is what you qualify for.
Yeah.
That's not the case. It's me and my team. We're going to be looking at this. It's not going to an underwriter. We control kind of when it goes to the underwriter. We package it and we kind of help tell that story, so that we have the best chance of getting the terms and the amount that we want. We're going to look at someone's, like I said, credit. We're going to look at their assets, their income history, their credit history, and we're going to put all that together, and we're going to say, okay, well, these are the recommendations. This is your goal. This is where we're at right now. This is what we need to do to get there. So talking with someone like me sooner versus later is really going to help people, reduce or limit those costly mistakes that may put them behind sometimes years. Maybe they're paying off something and they're spending a huge amount of what could have been used as a down payment or closing costs, and it didn't move the dial on their credit at all because they weren't working with somebody that knew how to kind of help them make those educated next steps.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're not, I can't speak for everybody, but I'm not a hard sell. I want to come in to the picture has an advisor, somebody that can help kind of put them on that path. Pre-approval is free. My time is free. We can set an hour aside and talk about what that means. We can look at the credit profile. We can look at your maybe you're a W-2 position and you haven't been there for 2 years and you've heard you have to be somewhere for 2 years. That's not necessarily the case. There's lots of different things we can count. Schooling as an example, has part of your 2-year history, or if you've gone from one position to the next, but it's a salary position, we can use that fairly immediately, even sometimes before the first pay stub at the new position. So there's a lot of misnomers out there. Sometimes people still think they need 20% down.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do 0% down on a USDA loan, 3% down on some conventional financing, and 3.5%, of course, on FHA. Veterans, 0%. So there's lots of great options. There's down payment assistance programs and grants as well. So all of these things you don't know until you come and speak with someone and kind of put that goal into motion. So for your clients that are still kind of pushing, it's like, it's not about what you can do now. It's about how she can help you get there in the future and help you make sure that you're not doing something that's going to set you back from meeting this goal.
Yeah.
So speaking with someone, if home ownership is a true goal of yours in the next, let's say, 2 to 3 to 5 years, you'll definitely want to, speak with someone sooner versus later.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a lot of really good points. Thank you. And we do. And actually, you are on our list of who we recommend. And because you're not high sales, and it doesn't mean that you don't work hard for your clients, but you're not going to, people are so afraid, I think, that if they make that call, they're going to get bombarded with, buy a house now, come get the loan, come talk to me. Are you ready yet?
Right.
And, I think just like us, we're kind of, low pressure, but here to help, and I think that's why we like recommending people to you, because you really do take the time to sit down and build a plan, and we can work together as a team to get them into a home. If that's their goal.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
We're just all trying to.
Yeah, and I know that I've worked with you personally on figuring out what I could do for a loan, and so.
Yes.
So,
that's right.
It was like a not yet, but
it's just like,
it puts
what do I need to do?
It puts things into perspective that okay, this is what I need to do. Okay, I'm not ready now, but maybe if I have this 5-year plan, and you know what to do anyway. So yes, it kind of drives us crazy that people go, oh, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
You don't have to be ready.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people don't realize that that the information just isn't out there. So shows like this are great for people to kind of understand that it's a resource to them.
Yeah.
And they should
that's a good way to put it. It's a resource, definitely.
Absolutely.
Take advantage of it.
Yes. So with not a lot of time left, I want to talk about, I want to make sure I get, you have a Heroes program that I wanted to talk about that. Let's fit that one in, and then we'll talk about other stuff if we have time.
Absolutely. Yep. So my team it's kind of goofy, but Your Lender for Life is the name of my team at Task, and my team offers what we call our Heroes discount. So we give back we only have the one fee for most of our financing products, which is our underwriting fee, and that goes back, has a hero reward after closing. And then we also offer a slightly reduced interest rate to those folks. And heroes are defined in this program anyway, has teachers, firefighters, police officers, nurses, veterans, and veterinarians. I had a therapist ask me the other day if I could squeeze them in, and of course I can do that. Therapists are important.
They're right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, they're important.
And this can be really anybody that works at the hospital, anybody that works at school. We kind of consider all those people that are doing what they can in their professions for the greater good, and so that's why we have that program to recognize folks that do that for all of us.
Yeah. Well, that's. I think that's great, and I think it's anything.
Yeah,
I think those people are not recognized often enough. Those, or I shouldn't say those people, but people in those professions who are truly giving back. And I know there's a lot of other professions where people give back, but to be able to recognize them, I think it's very nice of you. So it's a great program.
I agree, yeah.
And anything you can do to help somebody in these times where it's tough to get into a house here in Sonoma County.
Yes.
So if we have, I think we have a few minutes, real briefly, if somebody's looking to sell and then buy, and do you offer any type of, is there a bridge loan? Is there something like that would help? And what, can you explain that real quick?
Yes, absolutely. Yep, we see that a lot. First, it's always good for me to talk to those types of that client profile, if you will, to see if there's a way that we can write an offer that's non-contingent on the sale of the home first, because as you both know, that's going to put somebody in a much more beneficial position to have their offer accepted. But we have one of the things that my company has more than probably most is private money bridge loans. So we have a lot of people that come into our office and have funds to lend out to other people. They don't want to be in the stock market, but they like the real estate market. So it's a good loan. It's recorded. You can even get a service industry to collect the payment. But we have private money bridge loans that are very quick based on the property equity. We also have some wholesalers that offer more traditional bridge loans. So when somebody has a house that they need to sell before they can buy, sometimes we can access the equity from that home prior, so they don't have to wait for it to sell. Yeah. Therefore, they become a lot more of an offer that a seller would consider, because we're not having to get their home into contract and wait before we can close on the new home.
Right. Definitely a benefit. Okay, but I'm gonna cut you off because I want to get your contact. No, and I want to make sure people know how to contact you and not run out of time for that. So
absolutely. Give my phone number. Is that all right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. My direct cell is 707-483-5860, and you can find me at yourlender-forlife.com, and I'm at Task Mortgage in our offices in Windsor.
Perfect. So yourlender-forlife.com. I wish we had more time to talk about more stuff, but thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in. And if somebody didn't hear the answer to their specific question today, give Amanda a call or reach out to her website. A lot of good information on her web. You have a great newsletter, too, that you send out. Somebody could sign up for that. So thank you. Thank you for all of that. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Have a great holiday.
You as well. Thank you. All righty, good information. Give Amanda a call. She really is good at helping you kind of figure out where you need to be and what to do to get it. Or if you're ready, go for it. She can probably get you in a home by Christmas. I forgot to ask her.
And you can reach us at 707-799-3617. You can find us on Facebook, The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. You can find us on YouTube as well.
Sonoma County Real Estate Hour.